while everyone's joining, I'll just give everyone a welcome to the first webinar of Companies House for 2025. I'll just give everyone a second to join. I can see you're all coming in now. Introducing myself, my name is Rebecca Brown and I'm the Partnership Manager here at Companies House. We'll be doing a bit of housekeeping in a moment, so just give you a final few seconds to log on. So today we've been lucky to be joined by the business support team experts and the CIC experts. They're all in the background here waiting for your questions. So if you have any questions about CIC or the business support team and how they can help, please feel free to, throughout the presentation, add them to the chat box. I'll explain more about that in a moment, how you can do that. Just to inform you, please keep the questions general, as we can't go into any details on any specific cases online, and to keep any of your personal data private and not put them in the question box. Thank you. So how you ask questions. So we're using a system called GoToWebinar. I'll just take you through quickly how you do that. So on your screen, you should have a question box to the side of it. If you just click on that, it should expand the box and you should be able to type in questions there. Our experts are all in the background and should be able to see those questions and answer them for you. It's similarly using a smartphone or a tablet. Just click on that question mark on the screen and we should be able to see it. Just to give that a try before we start, if you want to add anything into the box now, so for example, where you are from today. So I'm based in a very sunny Cardiff actually, and my colleagues are dotted all over the country. So we want to give that a go. Okay, great. I can see some questions coming in. Perfect. So about the webinar today, I'll just quickly run through the agenda, then I'll hand over to the team. Firstly, we have the business support team, and then we're moving on to the CIC team, and the questions will be in the chat function. Just to let you know that we do have all the presentation will be recorded, and you will receive a copy of this in about 24 hours. We will do our very best to get through all the questions, but as you can imagine, if there's a lot, we will try to endeavour to send out some more information to you if you've asked a question at a later date. Right, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Jordan to take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Jordan. I am part of the fantastic team of dedicated business support advisors. Today, my role is to explain who the business support service is and what it is that we do. So, who are we? We are a dedicated business support service operating on behalf of the Department for Business and Trade. Our mission is to offer impartial general business advice and signposting to anyone who has a business or is looking to start one. We operate a multi-channel service across England, providing support to a diverse range of people. Our advisors are well trained and possess a vast base of knowledge and information to assist businesses in most situations. However, it's worth noting we are not legally nor tax trained. So in such cases, our advisors will direct you to an appropriate resource to help you. Our service is specifically for England-based businesses, and for those in Scotland, Ireland or Wales, we will include the equivalent support service within those regions. So, what is it that we do? Our service supports a wide variety of individuals, from those looking to start a business for the first time or needing general business advice, to long-term trading businesses that may have encountered recent difficulties. Our advisors are equipped to provide support in most cases. Throughout the webinar, our colleagues are available to assist by answering any questions within the chat. So, how can we help? We can help with a range of subject matters, including business planning, for instance. We provide resources such as standard templates and a general overview of what a business plan is. We can help with legal structures. We offer overviews of legal structures such as a limited company, sole trader, partnerships, and if applicable, social enterprises and charities. While we cannot advise which structure you should choose, we provide information and resources to help you make informed decisions. We can also signpost to support programs, whether they be national or local support programs that may include mentoring, one-to-one business support, marketing, and more. There's also the element of finance, which is one of our most popular questions, and we can direct you to government-backed financial resources such as loans and grants that you may qualify for. It is worth noting that we are not finance providers ourselves, however. And then there's also the reliable information. We provide information from trusted sources, paired with a free, impartial guidance from our advisors. We don't point you to biased information or sell you expensive services. You can use our service as often as you like as well. So what else can we help with? In addition to the aforementioned areas, we can offer advice on and information on how tax works, regulations and legislation you may need to follow for your business, employing staff, trademarking and intellectual property, as well as importing and exporting goods and services within other countries. It is worth noting that our business support advisors are not trained accountants or legal professionals, so we are unable to provide legal advice or personal tax related advice. However, we will look to see what localized professional advice is available to you. We want businesses to succeed, and using our diagnostic approach, our trained advisors can understand where you are in your business journey and how best to advise you moving forward by pointing you to the right resources. Let's move on to a couple of examples on how we have helped people previously. So, we recently assisted a health and wellness business looking to start trading and needing some general business startup advice and guidance. During our discussion, we covered several key areas to help them get started. Firstly, we discussed various types of insurances that might be necessary, including professional indemnity, public liability, as well as product liability. These insurances are crucial to protecting the business against potential risks and liabilities. Next, we explored different legal trading statuses available. Given the customer had some social objectives, we also discussed options for social structures, such as charitable companies, community interest companies, and charities. This helped the customer understand the best structure to align with their social goals. We then highlighted local support organisations that can assist with both traditional and social enterprises, providing valuable resources and guidance at both local as well as national levels. And then finally, we provided business planning and financial forecasting templates. These tools will enable the customer to start creating a comprehensive working document essential for planning and managing their business effectively. And then the second example that we have, we recently assisted a trading education provider looking to start a business, seeking general business startup advice, funding options, and legal guidance. Our discussion covered several important areas again. So firstly, we addressed key legislative requirements such as GDPR, cybersecurity, as well as safeguarding, along with other relevant legislation that may impact the business. We signposted the customer to the business companion and lawyers for your business, as these organisations are better equipped to provide specialist support in these areas. Next, we explored various local and national finance options, including specialist funding for trading providers. We referred the customer to resources such as Business Finance Support Finder, British Business Bank Finance Hub, and Grant Finder to help identify potential funding options. And then finally, we provided that business planning and financial forecasting templates. These tools will enable the customer to start creating that comprehensive working document essential for planning and managing their business effectively. So, what is the support process? Firstly, you would contact our service. This could be by one of the multi-channels that we use, and you will be greeted by one of our advisors who will need to take some information to create a customer record. This information will include your personal details, who you are, your postcode, contact details, and business information, such as whether you are a pre-start or how long you have been trading, and what it is that you do. The advisor will then arrange an appointment with a business support advisor, which can be done via telephone or Microsoft Teams. The next step is you will have that one-to-one appointment. Our business support advisor will contact you either via telephone or Microsoft Teams. They will carry out some general questioning to understand where you are and how best they can help. They will answer any questions you have to the best of their knowledge, but where they may not be able to answer those questions, they will signpost you to a relevant source to which you can gain those answers. And then finally, you will get an email with the resources discussed. So after the call, the advisor will write up the email. That will also include an action plan. This email will contain information discussed, as well as all relevant links to those resources mentioned. And then, how can you get in touch? If you feel our service would support you on your journey, then do get in touch using one of the methods on your screen now. I want to thank you for your time today, and I will now hand over to Beatrice from the CIC regulator.
Thank you, Jordan. Hello, everyone. My name is Beatrice, and I work for the CIC Regulator's Office. Thank you for joining us. In today's session, I will be guiding you through the process of setting up a community interest company, or CIC, as we call them for short. We will begin with a short introduction of what the CIC Regulator's Office is and what we are responsible for. Throughout this webinar, we will cover several important topics, including how to submit an application to incorporate a CIC, the conversion process if you are converting from another business structure, and other essential considerations to keep in mind as you embark on this journey. Whether you're just exploring the idea of starting a CIC or are ready to take the next steps, I hope this session will provide you with valuable insights and some practical information. Before we dive in, I'd like to remind you that there will be an opportunity for questions throughout the session via the chat service. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have, and members of our team will respond. At the end of the webinar, a link to the recording will be available to watch back at a later date, and a copy of the handouts of the presentation will also be made available. To give you a better insight into who we are, let me introduce the dynamic team that we have. The CIC Regulator's Office consists of the regulator, the deputy regulator, a team manager, and a dedicated group of 7 case managers, including myself, who are all ready to support you. We operate from our welcoming offices in Cardiff and Belfast and are passionate about helping community interest companies succeed. First and foremost, we are responsible for considering your applications to become a CIC. We also work alongside the registrar in Companies House, informing them of successful applications so that they can issue your certificates of incorporation. But our role doesn't stop there. We're also here to provide guidance to existing and aspiring CICs. We investigate complaints and take appropriate actions where necessary, and we carry out light touch regulations of CICs. Now that we've covered our responsibilities, let's move on to a core topic of today's webinar, which is understanding what a CIC actually is. A CIC is fundamentally a type of limited company that is required to comply with both company law and CIC legislation. A CIC, like any ordinary limited company, can choose to be either limited by shares or limited by guarantee. It also has the flexibility to operate as either a private or public limited company. It's important for you to carefully consider these options before setting up the company to ensure that you choose the right business structure that aligns with your goals. A CIC has the ability to trade, secure contracts, and pay salaries just like other companies. However, what truly sets them apart is their commitment to a social purpose. They are designed to benefit the community and are regulated to ensure that they stay true to their social objectives. Although CICs are described as not-for-profit, this really means that they are not focused on generating private profit. CICs are businesses that must generate profit in order to sustain the delivery of their social objectives. This significant difference in how they use that profit is what distinguishes them from traditional companies. Why do I want to set up a CIC? As a director, when a company adopts the CIC model, it signals to customers, stakeholders, and the wider community that it prioritizes social impact. This commitment can lead to a stronger and more positive reputation, but also cultivates trust, as stakeholders often appreciate and support businesses that contribute to social good. As a CIC director, you will also have a unique opportunity to tap into a range of funding sources that are often not available to traditional businesses. This includes targeted grants that are designed specifically for social enterprises. These types of funding could be the catalyst for turning your aspirations for the CIC into tangible outcomes. Why do I want to use a CIC? As someone in the community, a CIC actively involves you in the decision-making processes. This means that your voice matters and you have the opportunity to share your needs and priorities. By engaging with CICs, you help shape the services they provide, ensuring they are tailored to meet the needs of the community. They aren't just delivering services, they're working alongside you in your community. By engaging with the CIC, you can support projects that stimulate the local economy, create job opportunities, and enhance community resources. These efforts help to foster a sense of connection between your community members. When incorporating your CIC, you may choose to incorporate online or to send us your incorporation documents by post. If you decide to complete this online, at the end of the application process, you will be asked to make a payment of £65. This payment covers your incorporation fee with Companies House, which is £50, and the regulated fee of £15. If you decide to complete this by post, you will need to attach a cheque of £86 to your incorporation documents made payable to Companies House, and this payment covers your incorporation fee with Companies House, which is £71, and the regulated fee of £15. When applying to become a community interest company, you will need a document that outlines how your company is governed, operated, and owned, serving as a foundation for its operations. This document is called your Articles of Association. Whether your application is being submitted online or by post, you'll need to obtain a set of Articles of Association to upload to the online portal or send to us by post. You'll also have a document which will outline what type of company you're incorporating and your founding company members or shareholders. This document is called your Memorandum of Association. If your application is being submitted online, you won't need to obtain a Memorandum of Association because this is already generated for you. However, if you intend to apply by post, you will need to download and complete this document to send to us. If you're still with us at this stage of the webinar, I hope that means you're still interested in becoming a community interest company. Now it's time to consider what type of company structure to choose, limited by guarantee or limited by shares. To be limited by guarantee means that you have members, and to be limited by shares means that you have shareholders. But what does that really mean, you ask? As a company limited by shares, you can either choose to pay dividends to shareholders and asset lock bodies, or choose to pay dividends to asset lock bodies but not shareholders. As a company limited by guarantee or limited by shares, you can pay salaries and reasonable remuneration. Right now, over 86.5% of CICs on the company register are limited by guarantee. In this segment, I'm going to explore the difference between directors, shareholders, and members. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for anyone involved in corporate governance or management of a company. So let's begin with directors. Directors are legally responsible for running the company and making sure company accounts and reports are properly prepared. Your company must have at least one director. Now let's look at shareholders. Shareholders are individuals or entities which own shares in a company. Like directors, they are essentially the owners of the company. And finally, we have members. Members vote at general meetings on matters that have been put to them by the directors or shareholders of the company. When it comes to voting, the members' and directors' obligations are different. The membership process can be set out in your Articles of Association. Once you've decided if your company is going to be limited by guarantee or limited by shares, you can now choose your membership size. You will have the option to choose a small membership or large membership. To explain this easily, a small membership means that all the directors are members and all of the members are directors. A large membership means that you can have more members than you have directors. You can change your membership size at any time. If you've already started researching community interest companies, I'm sure that by now you'll have heard the term asset lock or asset locked body. The asset lock is what sets community interest companies apart from an ordinary limited company. The asset lock ensures that any assets of the CIC can only be transferred to an asset locked body. And if this is done for less than full consideration, it can only be done for the benefit of the community. If your CIC is wound up under the Insolvency Act or dissolution, then any residual assets, after satisfying its creditors, will need to be transferred to your asset locked body. An asset locked body is a charity, another community interest company, a permitted registered society, or a body established outside the UK that is the equivalent to those persons. An asset locked body is not a director of the CIC, your own CIC, or an ordinary limited company. If you haven't decided who you'd like to nominate as your asset lock, that's absolutely fine, and you can nominate this at a later date and leave this section of your articles blank. When completing your asset lock information, you'll need to refer to clause 3.5 in your Articles of Association, which will look like this. The final and arguably the most exciting part of your application to become a CIC is your CIC 36 form. Here, you'll get to tell the regulator what great things your company is going to be doing for its chosen community. Your CIC 36 is split into 4 sections. In Section A, we want you to tell us what community or section of the community you're setting up your CIC to serve. It could be your geographic community, like Cardiff, or it could be a community that you belong to, like the Jewish community. CIC legislation states that any group of individuals may constitute a community if they share a common characteristic. In Section B, we'd like you to tell us what specific activities your CIC will be carrying out for that community. For example, will you be running some exciting wellbeing workshops, or perhaps organising coastal cleanups? Whatever activities you've proposed, we need to see them here, along with a description of what impact those activities will have on your community and the wider community. You'll notice that Section C is a declaration, and it's extremely important that you understand what this means for your CIC. Your application will be rejected if the regulator finds that any of your activities involve a political element or involve campaigning. We ask that you carefully consider this declaration, and will remind you that CIC legislation prohibits any of these kinds of activities. Section D, you'll be pleased to know, is your finish line for your application and simply requires you and all of your directors to sign. However, this is arguably where many applications face rejection, so let me tell you how to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Firstly, the number of directors on your incorporation application must match the number of directors' signatures on your CIC 36. Secondly, we are unable to accept a typed signature, and for those of you who think using a curly font will throw us off, you'd be sadly mistaken. What we will accept is a form that's been manually signed and scanned back to your computer, a clear photo of your signature pasted onto the form, or an electronic signature service like DocuSign. Once that's completed, it's time to send us your application. If you have an existing company and have determined that the CIC model is more suitable for you, you can complete a conversion application. The application costs £45 in total and will allow your company to transition into a CIC so you can operate with a focus on providing community benefit. The conversion application can currently only be completed as a paper application and will need to be posted to us. Your application bundle must include a special resolution stating your intention to convert from an ordinary limited company to a CIC. You'll also need a CIC 37 form, which will need to be completed in the same way as the CIC 36. And lastly, you'll need a new set of Articles of Association that comply with CIC legislation and company law. Links to all of these documents can be found on our website. It's important to note that when you decide to convert to a CIC, the Companies Act does not allow for a company that is limited by shares to re-register as limited by guarantee, or vice versa. Your application will be rejected if you attempt to do so. We really want you to get your application accepted the first time, so here are some of our most common reasons for application rejections, starting with readability. The documentation you submit, once accepted, will be placed on the public register, so for that reason it's really important that they're legible. Before you upload your documents, make sure all the text is visible and hasn't been distorted, and make sure that there are no shaded areas or we can't accept your documents. With that, it's also important that you're attaching the right documents. We know that by the time you're uploading, you're eager to finish your application, but this often means that you may have overlooked the files you're uploading and have in fact uploaded a completely unrelated document, which we'll have to reject. Take a little bit extra time to make sure you've chosen the right files. Today, we've previously discussed your asset lock nomination and who this can and cannot be. If you've nominated a director of the CIC, your own CIC, or an ordinary limited company, your application will be rejected. And finally, when downloading your Articles of Association, you will note that several clauses are highlighted in red. These clauses are statutory clauses and under no circumstances can be removed, amended, or changed in any way. You may amend or remove any other clauses, but doing so to those in red will result in your application being rejected. It is important to remember that a CIC is still a limited company and has to comply with both company law and CIC legislation. Therefore, all applications are processed by both our office and Companies House as part of a two-part one application process. Both the Regulator's Office and Companies House look at all applications and both teams must approve the application or conversion in order for it to be successful. Depending on how you have applied for the CIC status, notifications for both acceptances or rejections of applications are issued in the same format they were submitted. For example, if you submit an online application, you will receive a notification through email, and if you submit your application through post, you will receive an outcome via a letter. We've now covered the essential steps and considerations involved in the process of both setting up and converting to a CIC. Before we bring the webinar to a close, I'd like to explore the advice and support we can provide to assist you in successfully launching and managing your CIC. I mentioned at the start of the webinar that we have a team of case managers dedicated to supporting your CICs. The Regulator's Office provides guidance on topics such as CIC 36 and 37 forms, CIC statutory clauses in your Articles of Association, special resolutions for changes to your CIC, annual CIC 34 reports, CIC 53s for the transfer of assets, and complaints about CICs. We aren't able to offer legal advice on individual issues, and in many cases, it may be for your business to seek your own professional legal advice. You can contact our office by email at cicregulator@companieshouse.gov.uk, or you can call us on 029 2150 7420. As mentioned previously, as CICs are also governed by company law, there are often times when our office receives queries on matters which do not fall within the remit of the Regulator's Office. For example, these are Articles of Association clauses, annual account submissions, changes to directors and directors' details, changes to company addresses, company names, corporate governance including directors' roles, dissolutions, online incorporation services for CICs, and online account services for CICs. You can contact Companies House by email at inquiries@companieshouse.gov.uk or call them on 0303 1234 500. Earlier on in today's webinar, Jordan from Business Support Services talked to us about some of the services, general business advice, and signposting which is available at any point in your business journey. This includes business planning, legal structures, finding localised and national support schemes, signposting you to relevant funding options, and in-depth discussions as often as you need them. You can contact Business Support Services by email at inquiries@businesssupportservice.co.uk or by phone at 0800 998 1098. That brings us to the end of today's webinar. Thank you for taking the time to attend this session, and we hope that the information and guidance provided has been beneficial and informative. If you were thinking about starting a CIC or converting to one, we hope that the information provided today has prepared you to take that next step. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all your input. I'm bringing this meeting to a close. Thank you.